Winter was in full swing. The engines were struggling with harsh temperatures and slippery rails. Nevertheless, they all pushed through and still managed well with their goods and passengers. For one engine low, it was already too much. Buck was suffering from a strong cold. His nose was stuffy and his cheeks were bright red. He worked as best as he could, but mostly spent time in the sheds, trying to recover. "How typical of young engines these days," grumbled Falcon one morning. "I mean, I despise the cold, but even I can handle it." "Oh, don't give me that," retorted Sterling. "I've bared witness to your many colds. You can sound like a broken trumpet." Falcon huffed and snorted out of the sheds. Joseph didn't move, however. He looked over to Buck as he gave a furious sneeze. "You gonna be okay, mate?" he asked. I think so," Buck wheezed. I just wish there was something to warm me up. Workers said the heater's broken. I know I can handle a bit of cold, but this is something else." "Well, I hope you get better soon," replied Joseph as he set off. Later, Joseph was tidying up the yards. He kept an eye on what he was doing, but he wasn't entirely focused. Buck's condition was weighing on his mind. He was sure it wouldn't be permanent, but how long would he be this way? Joseph had just shunted some trucks into the goods shed when he spotted something in the corner. It looked like a large sheet, neatly folded and sitting on the platform. The foreman was nearby. "Excuse me," Joseph called. "What's that?" "You mean that?" grunted the foreman. "It's just a tarpaulin. We were cleaning up the yard earlier. We're just keeping it in here for now." Joseph curiously looked closely at the tarpaulin. Even when folded, he could put together just how big it was. It was likely large enough to fit over a small engine. And that gave him an idea. "Hey," he called again to the foreman. "Could you, do a favour for me?" "You? Want a favour?" the foreman said, amused. "Where's this coming from? It's not like you." "Alright, yeah, I get it," sighed Joseph. "But there's something I just thought of, and I need some help with it." He outlined his plan. "Is that so?" pondered the foreman. "Alright then, why not? Bring a truck in here, and I'll get some lads to sort that out for you." That evening, Buck had his eyes shut tightly, trying his best to get some sleep. His condition hadn't changed much. It was a huge effort to simply breathe. Doubts of recovery were beginning to run into his smoke box. He began to wonder if he would feel like this forever. Suddenly, Buck felt different. His overall temperature shifted, as he could feel something make contact with his body. By now, he was beyond exhausted to open his eyes, so he didn't think much about it. But as the night wore on, he began to feel a little warmer. When Buck awoke the next morning, he saw everyone staring at him in a very strange way. Morning?" he responded. "Where did you get that ridiculous thing from?" exclaimed Falcon. Buck looked up and felt he was about to jump off the rails. A large tarpaulin was wrapped around him, covering him from smokebox to cab. "What the... where did this come from? Who did this?" "Well, it wasn't us," replied Sterling. "We didn't have it on when me and Falcon came in. Someone must have done it during the night." "Well, Everyone glanced over at Joseph, who looked a little bashful. "I might have, asked someone to to put that on you?" "Joseph?" gasped Buck. "You?" "Well, you know," Joseph said. You look like you could do with some warming up. Anyway, hope you get well soon, Buck." Without another word, Joseph left very quickly. The other 3 engines watched on, quite bemused. "That's a bizarre gesture if I've ever seen one," puffed Falcon, as he steamed off to prepare for his train. Sterling, who couldn't help smiling, shortly followed. Buck sat in silence, looking up at the tarpauling once again, and then over to Joseph's spot in the shed. Finally, for the first time in days, he managed to smile. He was now reassured that he would make a full recovery in no time. "Thank you." Meanwhile, Joseph was curled up in a siding. He had left the sheds just in time to hide his burning red cheeks. Oh, Jesus Christ. Why was that so awkward?